everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful. So let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of Formula 1 2019 Career Mode. There you heard it from Carl there that we are going to have some R&D regulation changes coming in for the next season, which could be big shakeups obviously. We don't really know if we're going to stick with Haas next season because I really do want to go to Ferrari. Obviously they're my favorite team, but I want to get the rep a little higher. But there you see what is changing right there is the aerodynamics, so we're certainly going to have to work on that just to give Haas the best chance going into next season. But we come straight to qualifying here in the Singapore Grand Prix. We actually made it to the third qualifying session once again. Singapore, probably my favorite circuit, or at least one of my favorite circuits on the Formula 1 schedule. So I was very excited, looking forward to coming here, and we made it once again to Q3 here in Singapore. So we cut straight through to the final moments here of my qualifying attempt as we're coming through these final few corners. The penultimate corner here, now down the straightaway towards the final corner. At this point it was Lewis Hamilton on the pole, surprise there. Now as we come through on the exit of the corner, we would come through across the line going P8 for the moment. I wasn't very confident with this lap, and sure enough we would go P10 here for the Singapore Grand Prix. So hopefully we can move forwards and have a good chance here to finish up in around 6th to 7th to 8th.
Hello and welcome one and all to the shining streets of Singapore. Can you believe we've been coming here for nearly a decade now? It feels like only yesterday that Felipe Massa was dragging his fuel hose down the pit lane in that eventful opening race, and in a Grand Prix won from pole position more often than not, will we see a new victor crowned today? We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. They've got a really good lead in the championship going into this weekend, so it feels to me that they've got one hand on the trophy.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Crofty. Yes, it looks like a big lead, but all it takes is a locked brake into turn 1, a sticky wheel nut in the pit stop, and that could all get turned on its head. You can never discount one more sting in the tail.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Sebastian Vettel and Leclerc, Butler, Sainz, Weber and the Rainmaster, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Daniel Kvyat and Ricciardo, Albon, Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Antonio Giovinazzi and Kevin Magnussen. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Great starting position for us, but hopefully we can improve the situation throughout the race.
Hopefully so. There we are going to be doing a two-stop race here in Singapore. I actually had the fuel out of the car this time as we get ready to go for this formation lap, but like I said, two stops here. We're going to be pitting around lap 6 to 7 likely here for our first stop off of the soft tire to the medium tire. Then we'll be pitting again later on in this race for another set of medium tires as we come back towards the grid here, getting ready to go green for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's Hamilton and Bottas on the front row. Sebastian Vettel, not a good qualifying effort. Ferrari 5th and 6th. Red Bull is P3 and P4 now as Ferrari has dropped to 3rd on that R&D here lately. Now as we get ready to start the Singapore Grand Prix, behind us we got our teammate Romain Grosjean now as his 5 red lights. Lewis Hamilton is ready to take the green and it's lights out. We are underway here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Bottas tries to get the best start that he can, but Hamilton's clear already and Bottas is under attack from both of the Red Bulls there. There's a little bit of contact with the Bottas and one of the Red Bulls now as it's Max Verstappen trying to edge out Bottas for that second position, and sure enough it's Max Verstappen out into P2. And for myself, it wasn't a good start at all, as we lost 3 spots on this start, down to P13 behind our teammate Roman Grosjean, Kimi Räikkönen, and Daniel Kvyat. They all had gotten past me, as I noticed right away the straight line speed on our car was awful now as we head down towards the left-hander. I forgot to change one of the parts on the engine. That was also, I think, causing some of the speed loss there, as we send it up the inside, though, of Kimi Räikkönen, trying to take over the 12th position. And sure enough, we do take over P12 and set sights on our teammate over at Roman Grosjean now. But certainly a bit of a struggle on these opening laps for myself, unfortunately, here in Singapore. I've been looking forward to this race for a bit now, and certainly just a fun time racing around this course now as we come through the left-hander down towards the hairpin, one of my favorite hairpins as well on the Formula 1 circuit, just the lead up into it. So much fun to get around now as we close in on the back of our teammate Grosjean. But like I said, in a straight line, at this point I was getting destroyed, so I knew right away we're going to have to make a downforce change with the front wing on our first pit stop, so I decided probably we're going to go 2 clicks down on the downforce. I think it was at 9 right now, so I was thinking of putting it down to about 7, maybe 8, so I wasn't 100% sure at this point, but I knew right away here on lap 1 that we had to make a change, because the straight line speed was just awful now as we came through these next few corners. We were certainly able to stick with these guys through the kind of second sector where we were having a lot of corners now, and as we came to lap 3, DRS enabled, still close to my teammate Grosjean, but you could see down the straightaways we just couldn't get to him, so I was pretty much stuck behind him throughout these laps. So it was just sitting here in P12 behind Grosjean at this point as we go through the right-hander. So very concerned I was at this point, because I was also starting to overheat the tires. You see me putting it in overtake for a moment, put it in high, DRS, still can't even get close to Grosjean as we go down the straightaway. And like I said, I would overheat the tires way too much to where as we came to lap 4, losing a ton of time, we actually had to call in to make an emergency pit stop about 3 laps early, as I was just hanging on for dear life at this point. So I come in quite a few laps early to make our first pit stop of the day here in Singapore, as everything at this point, these first handful of laps have gone completely south. We just are having no luck at all right now. Just not a good start. The speed is not there, and now we overheat the tires too much to where I just was not able to hang on to the car much longer. So we make a pit stop way early, put on the medium tire. Hopefully we can figure something out here, because we did make a downforce change on the front wing, so hopefully this will give us the speed that we need here in this second run, and hopefully I can manage the tires better. But so far this race has gone very bad for us, so hopefully we can turn it around here in this next 3 quarters or so of this race. Coming out in P20, we had Ricciardo and Magnussen actually getting beat by the 2 Williams at this point. It was so unfortunate for them. Daniel Kvyat, he would come to the pit lane, so we would get past him now here on lap 7, just slowly reeling in the cars ahead. There you see some cars pitting now as we come through, passing Weber and getting to the right-hand side of Sainz as we come through the first 3 corners. There's a little bit of contact there with myself and Sainz as he just pushed up into my left rear tire. Now as it's Charles Leclerc just in front of me actually as we come through the right-hander, so Leclerc getting a little bit off the pace. I'm not sure what was wrong with him, why he was so close to us, but now as we come down the straightaway, there you see Sainz looking to my right-hand side, a ton of speed, and we just fall in line behind him. He was coming so fast, I did not expect that at all, so we give him the position now here on this 8th lap, as it's Lucas Weber, our Formula 2 teammate behind me at this point. He would end up getting passed by our rival of Devin Butler here in the McLaren. Now as we head down into the right-hander, our teammate Roman Grosjean comes into the pit lane as we're all being held up behind a Renault of Kevin Magnussen. And this is an opportunity for ourselves to turn this sour start to this Grand Prix around now, as they're getting pretty aggressive out there. So 2 Ferraris right behind the Renault of Magnussen. They're all getting just clustered up in front of us, bringing me right into this battle now as we sit P15 on the exit of the corner. Sebastian Vettel gets past Magnussen as they head down towards the right-hander. But certainly a big opportunity for myself to make up for this really bad first 4 to 5 laps that we had. And as we came through now on the next few corners, we actually look to the left-hand side of Carlos Sainz. A bit of an aggressive move, but we make the pass on him and move up into P14. Now it's getting to lap 12 now, heading down the straightaway with DRS, trying to pass Pierre Gasly with overtake mode at this point. Certainly some more speed on the straight line. Now as we're going to send it up the inside there of Gasly into the left-hander. A little bit of an aggressive move as we come out side by side. No no contact made, so we keep it clean. I've had a bad habit in this game now lately of trying Daniel Ricciardo-esque dive bombs after I've seen what he can do in a car, so it's very cool to try doing that. Thankfully, it works out in our favor now as it came through on lap 13. At this point now, passing Kevin Magnussen, who is so much slower than us now as we head down straightaway. He does fight back, though, as we head into the left-hander, but we send it in a little bit hard and get clear of him, and now we set our sights on Daniel Ricciardo, who we would run down as well towards the end of lap 13, now down the straightaway towards the final corner. Now, as we do end up getting a caution, and it's behind us for Kevin Magnussen, who is DNFing from this race. He pulls over to the side. We keep going. No safety car necessary there as we go a little bit deep into turns 1, almost slide into the back of Ricciardo as we come through turns 1 and turns 2. Now on the back of him, a good chance to move up another position as we head down towards this third turn at this point. In the 7th position right now, things are looking up for us now as there you see Kevin Magnussen is indeed out of the session as we have the DRS on Ricciardo. We look to his right hand side now as we head through the right bend, very close quarters there with Daniel Ricciardo. Now as we head down towards the left hander, we send it in a little bit deep again and we make it work, and now as came through on lap 16, still running in that 6th position after passing Ricciardo. Certainly we have turned things around here in this race after that first little start with the poor first handful of laps. Now as it came to lap 17, George Russell actually would retire from the session due to a mechanical fault. Now as Devin Butler was actually running me down pretty quickly, so I knew that we were going to have to make a pit stop soon as well. There's Butler, has a lot of speed, but he doesn't make a move as we went down towards the left-hander at the end of the DRS straight, and we would hold off him for the rest of this lap now as we come through the right-hander, just making sure that he doesn't get an opportunity to pass me. So thankfully holding on to P6 for the moment, and at the end of this lap we were thinking about coming in to make our second and final pit stop of this Grand Prix. So I decided, okay, we're going to come in at the end of lap 18, put on the medium tire, and obviously that will be our final pit stop now as we come through these next few corners at the end of this 18th lap. Coming to the pit lane now, Devin Butler comes through. He's going to stay out on the track now as we're obviously a little bit off strategy with other drivers considering how bad of our start we had. We had to kind of cut it short, so we're going to be on the pit lane all by ourselves now as we head down towards hopefully having a good pit stop and getting us out here in a good position now as they throw on the medium tire for our final pit stop here in the Singapore Grand Prix. Now as we exit towards heading back onto the track right now, it's P17 as Robert Kubica comes through to make the pass. Daniel Kvyat, he was on the hard tire. He was way off the pace in this race, so I'm not sure what was going wrong with Daniel Kvyat, but he was nowhere to be found at this point now as we re-enter onto the racing line now on lap 19. Not a lot of time left here in the Singapore Grand Prix. Now it's came to lap 20, making some passes here on the guys that came into the pit lane up to P14 at this moment. So certainly turning things around, like I said. I was very confident within these final laps that we had something going for us. Now as we came to the end of lap 20, sitting P14, but coming through to make some more passes on the other guys in pit lane, Devin Butler included now as we move up into the 11th position. And it sure looks like we're going to get up into the points because here we come through on lap 22. Now looking to the left-hand side of Robert Kubica as we head down the straightaway with the DRS, making the move to take over P10. And certainly when we made that first pit stop, I was like, there's no way we're going to get a top 10. Everything is going wrong right now. And here we are now back in the top 10, fighting back, putting together a strong comeback for us here in the Singapore Grand Prix. Now with less than 10 laps to go, Devin Butler up into P11 as he was trying to run me down as we were closing in on this next group of cars who were all kind of stuck together just like we saw earlier in this Grand Prix with Magnussen leading a group. Now it looks like it might have been Kimi Räikkönen leading that group. So we run these guys down as we came to lap 24, and it was a Ferrari just in front of Räikkönen now as we come through on the DRS straight. A little bit of a crossover there on Alexander Albon now as we come through the right-hander with the DRS activated, trying to get ahead of him as we go down towards the left-hander, still side by side through the corner, and we're going to propel ahead of Alexander Albon and take over the 9th position here in the Singapore Grand Prix within the final 10 laps now as we set our sights on Sergio Perez in the Racing Point, who sits behind Kimi Räikkönen. So now as we came through on lap 25, making a very aggressive move on the right-hand side of Perez, and we make it work, and now we move up into the 8th position, setting our sights on Kimi Räikkönen there in the Alfa Romeo. Now as we came to the DRS straight on lap 26, making the move to his right-hand side as we almost make contact there as we go down towards the left-hander, braking a little bit more deep again, and now as we come on the exit of the corner, we get up into P7 here in at Singapore as we come through with just 4 laps to go at this point. Devin Butler had moved up into P8, and I was just really on an island of my own after that within these final few laps. As we hit 2 laps to go, Leclerc not having a great race for himself, sitting P6. He's still looking for a career win number 1 in real life and in our game here in our first season, and as we came through now to start this final lap here in Singapore, still in that 7th position. Devin Butler closing the gap. He was down to 1.9 seconds, but obviously if I don't make a big mistake, Devin Butler doesn't quite have enough time to get to us here on this final lap. Getting a little bit of oversteer there on the exit of the corner, but we were okay. But certainly cannot say I expected to be in P7 at this point in the race, because like I said, if you saw the first 4 laps of our race, we screwed up the start. It was an awful start. We lost 3 positions. It was one of our worst starts of the season, and then we had the tires overheating. We had no speed on the straights. Everything went wrong, and here we have a strong turnaround here in the Singapore Grand Prix, running P7 within this final couple sectors now, as Lewis Hamilton once again though has dominated the Singapore Grand Prix, just like Lewis Hamilton has dominated this entire season here. He has gotten, I think, 11 wins or 10 or 11 wins already on the season. This might be going for win number 11, and sure enough, Lewis Hamilton comes out of the final corner. He will come through to win the Singapore Grand Prix. It would be Max Verstappen in P2, and Pierre Gasly would follow through to get a 3rd place finish to round out the podium. No Ferraris on the podium today as the fireworks go off here on these final handful of corners in Singapore. One of the best circuits on the schedule in my opinion. It's truly amazing to race at this track with all the fireworks going off, especially on the final lap. It would have been nice if we were coming through to win this race, but obviously we're in a Haas. Not going to happen as we come through the final corner. It is going to be a nice strong comeback of P7 here in Singapore.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
A strong turnaround for us gets us a 7th place finish here in the Singapore Grand Prix. Our teammate Roman Grosjean finished down in 16th, an awful finish for him once again. Now, as obviously after the next race in Russia, I think it is a contract coming up. So I think we definitely deserve a better contract after that. Now, as we move up to 7th in the point standings, still 5th in the Constructors as we did pass Lucas Weber for that 7th position in the points. And there you see George Russell, it was Daniel Kvyat, and just both Williams drivers, and Daniel Kvyat, I think it was Giovinazzi maybe, who still don't have points this season. So unfortunate for them. Now, as always, so if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. And the next one we do go to the Russian Grand Prix. As our reputation goes up a little bit there, so that's always good to see. And hopefully in Russia we're not dealing with any rain. Sometimes, or usually when I go there, it seems to like to rain in the past games. So we'll see how that goes. As our value now is way higher than our contract there, as hopefully we can get a good contract after the next episode. So I will see you guys in the next one for the Russian Grand Prix. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.